Welcome to the Gallatin National Forest and the City of Bozeman. This is a story of a community's water supply, an area feeling the demands and pressure from increased population and growth, and the National Forest management challenges these ingredients produce. This story is not unique to Bozeman, but is one that could be told by many of the nation's western communities. Established in 1899, the Gallatin is part of the Greater Yellowstone area, the largest intact ecosystem in the continental United States. This 1.8 million acre forest spans 6 mountain ranges and includes 2 congressionally designated wilderness areas. The Gallatin National Forest provides habitat for a full complement of native fauna, including grizzly bears, gray wolves, bald eagles, and Canada lynx. Of all the many natural splendors of the Gallatin Forest, from its dancing rivers to its rich range of wildlife, its mountains may remain the most firmly etched in the minds of those who visit. The Gallatin National Forest hosts more recreationists each year than any other forest in the state of Montana, and is one of the top 10 visited forests in the nation. Bozeman, Montana is a growing and thriving community. It is the 5th largest city in the state, home to Montana State University, and is the county seat of Gallatin County. The Bozeman Area Chamber of Commerce describes this community as an ideal place to reside and recreate. Clean air, national forest access less than 10 miles away, and a moderate climate make this a perfect place for outdoor recreation. For these reasons, the city was most recently captured in Backpacker magazine as one of the nation's best places to raise a kid outdoors. The city continues to attract new residents due to quality of life factors, scenery, and nearby recreation. One of the city's main and most popular attractions is just minutes from downtown Bozeman. Hyalite Canyon is exceptional to Montana's recreational areas in its accessibility, enjoyment for all ages and capabilities, and in its glaciated carved valley. The canyon is mesmerizing in its beauty and splendor, a great getaway for all to enjoy. Hyalite and Bozeman Creeks are located about 10 miles south of downtown Bozeman and are considered to be Bozeman's backyard. The private land bordering National Forest System lands is sought after for housing development given the proximity to town and National Forest and the outstanding scenic views offered from these locations. Because of the proximity to Bozeman, these watersheds are a recreation hotspot. People can leave work in the afternoon and in 10 or 15 minutes begin a pleasant hike or ride in this beautiful area. It is not uncommon for more than 10,000 people to be enjoying these drainages on a busy summer weekend. These watersheds also provide over 95% of the city of Bozeman's water supply. Water is held in the Hyalite reservoir and piped from the mouth of Hyalite drainage to the treatment plant in the Bozeman Creek drainage. The treatment plant was built in the late 1970s, and the city of Bozeman intends to upgrade the treatment technology in the next 10 years.
The current treatment facility is a filtration system, and while it can filter big chunks of debris out of it, it's not a membrane system, so it can't very successfully remove ash and the type of sediment that you would see in a forest fire.
The Hyalite and Bozeman drainages are dominated by steep slopes covered with dense, mature vegetation. There is a western spruce budworm and a bark beetle outbreak occurring in both drainages. Portions of these drainages were harvested 40 to 50 years ago. In the old harvest areas, younger, healthier trees and shrubs are quickly growing and becoming very dense. These more healthy areas are fairly resistant to insect and disease attack. In the last 10 years, numerous large wildland fires have burned near these drainages, including the Purdy Fire, Big Creek Fire, and Fridley Fire. Given the alignment of these drainages with prevailing wind and weather patterns and the existing fuel conditions, Forest Service fire and fuel managers believe it is inevitable that these 2 drainages will experience more wildland fires in the future.
Because of the fuel and the forest conditions, and there's insect and disease activity recently, and also because of just the topography of the area, the way the canyons line up with the wind and the weather patterns, it's likely this area could support a large fire in the near future. Gallatin County has done a wildland fire protection plan on this area, and they have identified the watershed as an area of concern.
In 2004, 2 independent studies conducted by the Bozeman Watershed Council and the City of Bozeman concluded that wildland fire is the highest potential threat to the city's water source. In 2006, the Forest Service conducted a watershed analysis that further verified these results. All 3 studies recommended the Forest Service reduce the amount of fuels in these drainages to reduce the severity and extent of wildland fire. These studies, coupled with input from and discussions with others who may be interested in or affected by this project, prompted the Forest Service and the City of Bozeman to develop the Bozeman Municipal Watershed Project, also known as the BMW Project. The Forest has spent the last 4 years working with the city and the Bozeman community to develop the project's goals and reach a decision. The goals of the BMW project are to maintain a high-quality, predictable water supply for the Bozeman community through cooperative efforts with the City of Bozeman in implementing sustainable land management practices. The city and the forest are focused on the lower 1/3 of the drainage first because it is closest to the city's water intake and treatment plant. Ash and sediment from potential wildfires have less distance to travel and settle and could more readily affect the city's ability to provide clean drinking water. The lower portion of the project area is also closest to the wildland-urban interface, making them a priority.
The City of Bozeman gets the vast majority of its water from the Bozeman Municipal Watershed to the south, the city and the mountains. And so as some forest fires in the past several years have kind of come close to that watershed, it really was a wake-up call, I think, to the city and our working relationship with the Forest Service that we needed to make sure we were working hand in hand in the management of the forest there.
The forest believes this goal can be accomplished by implementing vegetation management projects that will begin to reduce the severity and extent of wildland fires in the Bozeman and Hyalite municipal watersheds, focusing on treatments that will begin to reduce the risk of excess sediment and ash reaching the municipal water treatment plant in the event of a severe wildland fire, providing for firefighter and public safety by beginning to modify potential fire behavior, and reducing fuels in the wildland-urban interface to reduce potential fire spread and intensity between National Forest System lands and adjacent private landowners. The decision identifies approximately 4,800 acres to be treated within the approximately 50,000-acre project area. Treatment areas were strategically identified to reduce forest density, increase the height of tree crowns, increase the probability of keeping fire on the ground, and reduce existing high levels of large downfall. Treatments will include prescribed burning, tree thinning and harvest, and brush cutting and removal. Specifically, the decision calls for thinning about 2,500 acres and prescribed burning about 1,500 acres. The City of Bozeman manages approximately 6 sections of land within the project area. The city is working on a strategy to treat their acres to complement the work being done on National Forest System lands. Soil erosion and sedimentation was the primary concern for the forest, city, and the public. The forest determined a clear and compelling need to address fuels concerns in the Gallatin Fringe inventoried roadless area while preserving its values. To retain these values, strategic areas adjacent to private land and the water's treatment facility were identified. The decision calls for about 200 acres of mechanical treatments and 1,300 acres of prescribed burning to be accomplished without any road construction. As the environmental analysis for this project unfolded, the forest discovered a west slope cutthroat trout population in Leverage Creek. The forest is heavily involved in and committed to native trout conservation, making this a unique discovery that provided a great restoration opportunity.
Well, this has been a great partnership with the City of Bozeman to implement sustainable land management practices in our municipal watershed. Hyalite and Bozeman Creek are very important areas to the community, both locally and nationally. The Forest Service is looking to protect and enhance this area for future generations in one of the last best places.
A very large percentage of the nation's water supply originates on National Forest System lands. As people continue moving to the west because of the amenities offered, particularly access to public lands, it is imperative land and resource managers take appropriate actions to maintain a community's high-quality, predictable water supply, address wildland-urban interface issues, and address public and firefighter safety. The Gallatin Forest and the City of Bozeman feel we have taken the first steps in addressing these issues and will continue working closely with landowners, interested groups, and individuals to further address these resource challenges.